Hello and welcome to Blakely Buzz Today. I'm your host, Nicole Ward, President and CEO with the Cochran-Bleckley Chamber and Industrial Development Authority. We've got a great December show for you today with two wonderful guests, so make sure to stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Blakely Buzz Today. I'm your host, Nicole Ward, and with me today is Mr. Matt Kelly himself, who is our Fire Chief and EMA Director for Bleckley County. Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nicole. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for being on our show today. And we've got a lot to talk about fire safety, and kind of all you have been working on lately. So I know you are new to this. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get into the job details shortly.
Okay. Like you said, I am the Fire Chief for the County Fire Department and EMA Director for Bleckley County also. The fire department's been in existence for about 2.5 years. I've been the chief since it started. Recently just got the EMA position this past April. So yes, it's been very busy, especially with the storm that came through for the EMA part. And we always stay busy with the fire. A lot of fires and accidents that we respond to. So,
well, I bet you probably are kind of increasing that with the holiday season around, but just with it being kind of cooler temperatures outside too. But let's start by talking about the Bleckley County Fire Department. It's actually, like you said, 2.5 years old, so it's a kind of brand new type thing. I think it happened when the city and the county actually split, and you were able to take over as far as the county's fire chief. So tell us kind of how that's been going, and just your role as the fire chief.
Well, yes, it has been very busy the past 2.5 years, especially when you start from ground zero. We had some county stations, but they were not fully equipped with the type of apparatus that you need to get the department going. So
I know you've had a tough job ahead of you for sure, just
yes,
getting all that done.
So we've got each station, which we have 5 stations currently, and they each house a Class A engine that's certified by the state of Georgia to be in compliance to operate a fire department. And each station also has a water tender, and we're currently working on brush trucks for each station, and they should be up and running by the end of this month or in January.
Awesome.
So we're moving forward. Sometimes a little slower than what we would like, but we still continue to move forward.
Well, with so much kind of on your plate, it's just, especially for 5 stations. And tell us kind of where those are at within the Bleckley County area.
They're really placed very well in the county as far as the 5-mile coverage for the residents. They have to be within a 5-mile radius of a certified station for their insurance. They don't want to be a Class 10, which is no fire protection. They pay higher rates on their homeowners insurance. So we have a station on Porter Road, which takes care of that area. We also have a station in Cary, which is Station 5, Salem, which is Station 4, and then Airport, Station 3, and then Limestone, Station 2. So those are our current stations right now.
Awesome. And I know you guys were in the process of working on maybe a couple of others within the area?
Yes. Station 1, which will be our primary station, is going to be off of Antioch Road. That was placed there due to the fact there's areas that they were not in the 5-mile radius of a station. So they're anxious for us to get that one up and running, and so are we, and that'll help them out on their homeowners insurance also.
Awesome. So is that where you would be stationed?
As
the chief as well as the EMA director?
Right. That's probably pretty much going to be a primary station. That's where my main office will be.
Awesome.
The EMA building currently that's on East Beach will still be an EMA building, and it'll also be our Station 7 is once we get it certified. So that'll take care of everybody that's on the outskirts of right there at the city limits, but in the county.
Gotcha.
So we'll have coverage for them also.
Well, very good. So you would have at some point 7 stations. Is there any plans in the future to build any others, or not at this time?
Not at this time. Pretty much those 7 stations will cover Bleckley County very well. So
awesome. Very good. Well, I know that we are talking about just, the upcoming stations, things like that. You're talking about getting those certified. So what does that mean? Kind of talk a little bit more about that. Is that, having those,
right.
The tanker truck and...
Right. The Georgia Standards and Training Council, who certifies all departments in the state, which is over 600 stations, You have to meet certain criteria with them as far as your equipment, your apparatus, your number of volunteers, number of people that are manning the station. So you meet that compliance and you get a certificate of compliance, and that gives you operating rights through that territory, that fire district. So
awesome.
Each one of our stations have to be certified by the state.
And this is not just in Bleckley County. This is something, for our entire viewer audience of what each kind of station would have to do throughout different counties as well. It's not different from Bleckley County versus another county. Is that correct?
Right. The standards are consistent across the board for any fire department that is up and running. So.
Awesome. Well, I know you had mentioned kind of all that it takes to operate that, and volunteers is, I know, a big thing for you guys. So tell us about not only volunteers but then paid staff as well. How does that work?
Yes, we're primarily a volunteer fire department. We have been able to hire one firefighter who also deals with all our mechanics. So he's kind of a dual purpose role for us right now. But we have currently 39 volunteers on the roster. That's something else that the standards and training has to make sure that the training is, and that they have the training that they need to have to be a certified firefighter to operate. So that's a big thing, keeping volunteers. So these are individuals that have full-time jobs and they help out, when they can. So to keep them trained and keep them involved is something that is an ongoing process, because we have some that drop off, and then of course we're always looking for those that would like to help out.
Awesome. So if somebody is interested, kind of tell us what you're looking for in an individual.
Well, you have to be 18 years of age. We do have a state application packet that they would have to fill out. At that point, we review the packet, make sure they're qualified, and then we'll have to start the training and get them trained into firefighting, and they'll be on board with us after that.
Now, I hear that's a little intense. Is that correct, or what all is involved with the training?
It can be. There's a lot of book work, a lot of learning that you need to know about fire behaviors and how to operate equipment and apparatuses. And then you do have a lot of hands-on training learning. So it's not for the faint-hearted, but it is not overcomplicated where anybody can't do it. So.
Now, what if somebody signed up today? What kind of process does that? Is there a time frame that you have to get that done in, or
once all the paperwork is completed and looked at, make sure it's all there. Basically, the way we do with a volunteer organization is the application is brought before the volunteers, and we review it, and we kind of interview the individual, and if they meet our criteria and we feel like they'd be an asset to our department, then we'll bring them on board.
Oh, awesome.
Vote them in, basically.
Very good. Very good. Now, do you have a certain number per station that they're assigned to, or when they're just a volunteer for the county, they're a volunteer for the county, they go wherever they need?
They can go wherever they need. They are assigned to a station, but that's because that's another part of standards of training. You have to have at least 4 volunteers per station to be certified, so we make sure that each station has those individuals in those areas.
Awesome. So if somebody out there is interested in participating, now do they have to live in Bleckley County, or are they throughout the area
they have
could
to be
able to participate?
Within a certain distance of the station that they would be assigned to. So, we're on the outskirts of Dodge with, Roddy. We have some volunteers that live in Roddy community. Same thing with Twiggs. They can volunteer, as long as they're within the close enough to the station to respond.
Gotcha. You don't want them 30 minutes away to be able to go to the station and trying to help with putting out a fire for sure. So tell us some information about if somebody is interested in maybe starting that process, what they would need to do.
Right now they could either contact me with my contact information, or they can get with the courthouse. Miss Diane at the Commissioner's office does have applications. They can pick one up there.
Awesome.
And also turn it back in. And then we'll contact them once we get their information.
All right, so you can look on your screen right there and have Mr. Matt Kelly's information to be able to call him for information. And definitely, like you said, always looking for volunteers, right?
That's correct. We definitely need some good people that want to help the community.
Now, I know sometimes they're paid and other times they're compensated in different ways. Is there kind of any just benefit besides just helping out your community? I know that's...
Right. We do give a per-call pay. $20 per call, and also legislation passed the cancer policy, so if you are a volunteer with a fire department, that you're automatically given a cancer policy. There is the pension fund that they're eligible for if they meet certain criteria with the pension fund that they can contribute to, which which will give them a nice little retirement at the end of, their tenure.
Awesome. Very good. So definitely, you guys, if you're interested in participating in the Bleckley County Fire Department as a volunteer, definitely give us the call there with Mr. Matt Kelly's information and see what it's all about. I know my husband's been a volunteer for a number of years and really enjoys it. So just hope more people will be interested in being able to help their community. Yes. Your job depends on it, really.
That's correct. We have some older people that have put in a lot of time, and sometimes they're ready to, they have to step out, and we need the younger ones coming in to keep things going.
All right, very good. Well, I know that there's some other things that we had talked about too, not only the volunteers and how to get involved, but you had mentioned earlier about the ISO. So that's actually the rating. Don't ask me what it stands for. You can probably help me with that. But that's what you were talking about, trying to make sure that these stations are positioned within the 5 miles of those people within the county. So tell us a little bit about ISO, where we're at now, and some things of what that number really means.
Okay, well, ISO works with insurance companies to give the homeowners a rate for fire coverage. It's not their entire policy, but it is a portion of it, and it can be substantial at times. Right now, Bleckley County is a rating of a 7. We would like to see that lower to a 6 in the future, but that does take some work and some money and putting things where they need to be. We definitely don't want a 10, and that's where a person would be if they were not within 5 miles of a certified station. So we're continually to work on that. If we can get some grants to possibly hire some more part-time positions, that also helps, not only with ISO, but just with the coverage throughout the county to get where we need to get as quick as we can on our response times.
Awesome. Very good. So different things that you guys might be working on to be able to help lower that. So I know you talked about staff. Is there other type things?
Staff, your water sources.
We got plenty of water these days with all the rain that we've seen.
And that's something that
November,
we do utilize. We use what we call a turbo draft so that we're able to get water out of a pond or a water source and get it into the trucks. Operates like a hydrant if you're not around a hydrant. So
awesome.
So there's different things that we can do to help with that ISO rating. So we're going to do as much as we can to help the community out.
Now, is that where you work with the local landowner that owns the pond to be able to install these type things, or
we just basically have to have a permission, and they sign an agreement allowing us to use their water source in an event of an emergency.
Awesome.
So, and a lot of that does help them if they have actual pond on their property that's close to their house, and we're able to use that as a water source. So it does help in that.
And is that no cost to the homeowner?
Yeah, it's no cost to the homeowner.
Awesome. So definitely something too to for people if they don't have that availability or something like that, maybe to contact you.
Right.
Potentially.
They can do that, sure.
Awesome. Well, very good. Well, I know you said not only with you being new to the fire department, of course, for the last 2.5 years, but you're also new EMA director. So
that's correct.
I know not too long ago we ran into Hurricane Michael, and I know that was kind of the first time that you've been able to step out and lead the organization, which you did a great job, by the way. I know I was part of all of that with just the planning, getting the information out to everybody, things like that. So tell us a little bit about how that kind of came about and just what an EMA director does for your county.
EMA director is basically a coordinator in planning and preparing for types of hazards. We do hazard mitigation for anything from a missing person to active shooters in the school system.
Oh, okay.
And just basically getting our agencies coordinated so we can utilize our resources, and things will flow a little bit smoother so everybody knows who to contact and when to contact. It's kind of like with the storm, like you saw when we did our briefings, kind of have everybody there on the same sheet of music, so to speak, and so that we can just get the resources and get things done in a quicker way to get your community to recover quicker.
Gotcha. And I know a lot of those meetings were, of course, kind of closed off to a certain extent with just those, personnel,
right.
Just be able to try to get on the same page. But just a lot of great information that kind of goes on. You're constantly updating everybody on what's going on so that way we can all get that information out as well. And it's just really seemed to go over very smoothly. We're, I think, very lucky that Hurricane Michael didn't hit us any harder than it did.
it was forecasted to be a lot worse than it turned out to be, which is always good.
Yeah.
It's good.
But-
We do have a Facebook page. I just want to mention that real quick. We do have a Facebook page for the Bleckley County Fire Department and for the Bleckley County Emergency Management Agency. So, like us on Facebook, follow us. We keep all the updates and current information that we can with fire safety or emergency management also.
And this is another position that, of course, is in each county, correct?
Yes, that's correct. There's
Okay.
an EMA director for all 159 counties.
And I think you just, as an individual homeowner, just regular citizen, I don't know that you really think about what an EMA director is and what they do kind of behind the scenes. So it's just very interesting to be able to sit in on some of those meetings and see how you guys are all bringing everybody together to be able to not only help prepare for the storm, but actually how you work together afterwards to get everything cleaned up. So,
And we appreciate you able to be there also. So.
yeah. Well, I know that you guys from the fire department standpoint do a lot of fundraisers kind of throughout the year for different things. I know you were talking earlier with me off camera about the Boston Butt Sale that you guys just had for Thanksgiving, but any other type things that you guys do during the year you want to mention?
Okay. Usually our fundraisers, like Nicole said, we did have a Boston Butt we have around Thanksgiving. In early spring, we do have sometimes we have tillers, farm equipment that's donated that we can raffle off. And around turkey season, we'll do either a turkey shoot or we'll raffle off a shotgun. So there's different things that we do to raise money because, like I said, we are a volunteer fire department and we are on a strict budget, so to speak. So anything that we can do to raise money to help with equipment purchasing and so forth, and just bettering ourselves in training and whatever. So.
Well, awesome. Well, very good. Well, also another thing too with the holiday season coming upon us, a lot of people cooking. Of course, it being a lot cooler outside and using heaters. Any kind of advice you want to give people about just fire safety in general?
Sure. Well, we come up on the Christmas season, and I know a lot of people buy a live tree. I purchase live trees also. You just want to make sure you keep your trees watered and don't have extension cords, running through too many areas. Those are always a fire hazard. When you get
My
too many
husband
things.
fusses at me all the time, and then the dog drinks all our water out of
There
our
you
tree
go.
too. So yes, make sure to water your tree.
So-
It helps it look better too, people. So
It'll last
yes.
longer. You won't have quite a mess to clean up at the end of the season. So.
And get LED lights, right?
Yes,
You
LED
can-
lights are great because they do not put out as much heat as the old traditional type
And you
lights.
can keep plugging with those.
And
That's,
they
I'm
don't
a light
draw a lot
girl,
of
so I love lots of lights.
Space heaters is another thing that we have to watch out for during the holiday season. I understand that some people that plug in a bunch of space heaters, they do draw a lot of amperage, and if you have older wiring, it can cause a short. And then we have a lot of fires that are caused by space heaters for that reason. Also, just putting them too close to something that can ignite is combustible. So.
Yeah, it's hard to think about just trying to get warm and things like that if that's your only heat source. But just
Sure.
make sure that you're putting it away from all types of things that.
And be careful with the heat lamps. I know people put heat lamps out for their animals. We have had situations where that caused electrical problem and started a fire also. So just be mindful when you do these things and just be safe.
Now, as far as just protection throughout to your home, what would you recommend?
Well, smoke detectors, CO, if you have run gas or propane, your CO carbon monoxide detectors, and just like I said, stay away from when your first initial lighting of the furnace. A lot of times we get calls because there's dust accumulates throughout the year on your heating elements, and that'll burn off and it'll kind of fill your house up with a smell like something's on fire.
Yes, I remember those smells.
A lot of times it's good to check those out before you need them. Do it earlier in the season to make sure you get that burned off, that initial going of the furnaces. But gas, make sure you have that detector because you can have a gas leak in the house. also.
All right. Well, great advice. So thank you so much, Fire Chief Kelly, for being with us today. I hope you guys got some great information, not only about just the general operations of the fire department and EMA, but also for the holiday season, how to be safe within your home too. So stay with us. We've got Miss Leanne Green that's going to be with us, and she's going to tell you about a tourism opportunity right here in the Middle Georgia area. So you don't want to miss that. Hello and welcome back to Bleckley Buzz Today. I'm your host Nicole Ward, and I'm here with Miss Leanne Green of Tom Sawyer Farms. So Leanne, thank you for joining me today. So I want us to kind of start off telling me a little bit about yourself and your husband, James, who owns Tom Sawyer Farms as well. So
thank you so much for asking us to be here. As you see, I'm alone. He is not a talker, so he sent his wife to tell you guys about the farm.
He's out doing the manly stuff.
He's out doing the manly stuff. You know how fellas
let him
are.
slide.
Yeah, he has his place and I have mine. So, yes, we are. He's originally from the area. He's from Roddy, which is where the farm is in our little community of Roddy. And I'm originally from Ben Hill County. So when I married him, the little community took me in, and we decided to buy the farm because it closed. Mr. Tom Sawyer himself and his wife, Miss Jean Sawyer, decided that it was a little too much for them. Mm-hmm. You know, they're on up in age a little bit, although they get around better than the rest of us. They decided that they were ready to stop. And the farm was actually closed for an entire year. And I guess you can probably speak for anybody in this area, in the Middle Georgia area. That was a sad year. It was a really sad year.
Yeah, I know we were constantly getting calls from different people from, just wanting information about it and just all the things that you guys do throughout the year that, of course, now is continuing through you guys. People were really missing. So
we were too. I mean, we live right across from the farm, and it's just part of this area. Anybody that's grown up here, Tom Sawyer Farms is part of who they are, you know, and the memories and the traditions and everything that we have here. And we prayed about it and talked about it, and we decided, you know what, let's just jump off and do this. And we did just that.
Well, awesome.
I don't know if we knew what we got ourselves into, but we did. We did. So we're excited, and we're offering all kind of things that I'm excited to talk to y'all about.
Well, tell us a little bit just about the farm itself. How many acres? You have purchased it and been there for about a year or so operating. So,
right.
So tell us a little bit about the farm itself and what you guys do throughout the year.
Absolutely. It's 65 acres. The farm right there is 65 acres. It was established in 1962, and since the early 80s, Mr. Tom decided to put in peach trees in the early 80s. And then I guess probably in mid to late 90s, he started with the strawberries too. I may be wrong about that, but somewhere in there, he was a lot later with the strawberries. Mm-hmm. So that's the acreage. And we do have the seasonal produce. We have strawberries, peaches, blueberries, and blackberries that we specialize in. One issue that we had this year was that the farm was closed for an entire year, about a year and a half, and the trees weren't pruned and they weren't taken care of because it was shut down. There was no need for that expense or that labor force. And we didn't have the crop production this year. That you have a peach tree is like a well-maintained woman. Mm-hmm. You got to take care of them, okay, or they don't give back what they've got.
That one, but that makes a lot of sense.
It does, and you have to prune it because the old wood, once you prune the wood, it shoots off new wood, little green shoots, and that is sitting on your new wood for the next year. And you actually prune in January and February, which is going to set you for the following peach year.
Awesome.
So for this summer, we prune trees last February.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so.
We hope to have a better peach crop this year, and peaches will come available around. We don't have a whole lot of May peaches, is what people call them, pickling peaches or May peaches. We do have a few, but we're looking at June 1st all the way through June and July, maybe some into August with those.
Awesome.
And our strawberry crop, that's growing too.
That's what I get so excited about. So that's actually coming up, of course, the first of kind of next year. So May, June, July, or March, April, May time frame. So I know we had talked over lunch one time, and you were telling me that you guys have already planted the strawberries for this year,
We
getting
did.
ready for them. So that was kind of a surprise to me. So tell me a little
We
bit
did.
about that too.
We planted the strawberries in the second week in October, which is when you plant strawberries. People are really confused by that. I was too, because you think people are like, they won't kill them. The cold weather won't kill them. Well, no, it won't. The only thing that'll kill a strawberry plant is frost. When the frost falls, you have to take either crop covers, which we don't currently use. We use overhead irrigation. So we turn on the water and they cover the plant and then freeze the plant to save it from the frost, which is, it's just evident.
Almost
It's just
backwards, it seems like, but
does,
it works.
It does, but it's nature. It's awesome, to think about nature in that way and how that works. But that's February. So pray for us in February. We'll be up all hours of the night. My husband will. He'll be up all hours of the night making sure that the crop coverage is there and that the frost doesn't get everybody strawberries, because we planted 25,000 plants this year.
Wow. So
And that's big for this area.
Definitely be ready to go pick some strawberries for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I think one of the other things that people get excited about is the strawberry ice cream that you guys have.
Oh yeah, that's a favorite. The ice cream, we do peach and strawberry, and that's what everybody comes for. Some people just come just for that.
Awesome. So not only you do strawberries and peaches, but also blackberries and blueberries.
We do, and blackberries will be ready about the 1st of June, and then blueberries will be like the end of June. And
Awesome.
all of our crops are you pick.
Well, I know that that kind of gets you throughout the kind of spring and summer, but I know you guys had a huge event this fall. So kind of 5 different Saturdays throughout September and October.
We did.
You did a fall frenzy on the farm.
We did.
I can't say that 5 times fast for sure.
We did. We had a great time. We had corn boxes and tractor rides and just good, wholesome, clean family fun.
And you guys are looking to do that again
We
next year?
absolutely are, and it will start the last Saturday in September and go through the first Saturday in November. So we are going to extend it a little bit. So the last Saturday in September through the first Saturday in November will be our fall frenzy every Saturday.
Awesome. Well, I know something that you guys are just getting into now is just kind of had come out, but tell us about that for things that people can look forward throughout the month of December.
We're excited to tell you guys about our new adventure. It is the Trip Family Christmas Lights, and there again, if you're from our community, you totally understand what I'm talking about. If you're not, it was the biggest residential light show in the state of Georgia. So we have acquired all of their lights, and now we're going to have Christmas on the farm. And we want all of you to come out because we've been working tirelessly. I'll leave here, change clothes, and go out there to put the light, finish working on the lights. I want you guys to come out. It's going to be every single night in December, starting December 1st through December 30th. It'll be Sunday night through Thursday night, 6 to 9, and on Friday and Saturday nights, it's going to be 6 to 10, and Santa Claus will be there on
Awesome.
Friday and Saturday nights. $3 admission per person, 3 and under free.
Awesome. So for just continued information about what you guys are doing, how can people get in touch with you and stay in touch?
You can get in touch with us through Facebook, Instagram, or our website. Of course, we're Tom Sawyer Farms on Facebook. We're Green Acre Farms, Tom Sawyer Farms on Instagram, and then tsfgreenacres.com. And green has an E on the end. Our name has an E on the end, so it's TSF as in Tom Sawyer Farm, greenacres.com.
Awesome.
And those are the best ways to contact us.
Well, I thank you so much for participating with us today and telling all about what you guys have going on with the farm, and just so glad that you guys are here from just a tourist attraction, a great way for families to be able to go and enjoy some different times, and looking forward to all those Christmas lights as well and being able to get out there myself. So, but thank you guys so much. Want to make sure to remind you guys to stay tuned to our Cochran-Bleckley Chamber of Commerce website, as well as our Facebook page, and also make sure to stay tuned to all the events that we've got going on and coming up for this year. We don't have a business of the month for December, but you will make sure to see our business of the year for 2018. We will announce that at our annual chamber banquet, which is going to be on Friday, February the 1st. Definitely thank our sponsor, ComSouth Powered by Hargray, and thank you guys for tuning in to Blakely Buzz today. I'm your host, Nicole Ward. Until next time.